Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Reformation podcast. Here with a bunch of lovely people. I am Rose, and
I'm Dara Smack.
I'm Zen.
I'm Cam.
And
we have a amazing guest tonight. Jaira.
Jaira Noel Jaira,
Yes.
Hey guys.
How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing?
Good. It's a beautiful evening. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here with you beautiful souls. I just touched down in California a couple days ago. I'm on a mini tour right now. So I'm kind of happy to just be stable, like I'm happy to really be able to get work in the LA area with a lot of different creatives. The world's kind of doing a slow open. I won't say open back up for the viewers watching. We still over here being COVID friendly. But like things are finally happening in the music world again. I'm excited about that. Like I said, we were just talking about it being spring. So I'm excited that the weather is weathering. The sun is out, like people's depression is going away. I'm here for it. I'm just happy. Yeah, I'm all around happy at where things are at right now. What about you guys?
I'm feeling good, feeling great, can't complain. If I did, no one would listen. Well, that's how I'm feeling. How about you guys?
Well, I couldn't have said it no better than than our special guest today. Like the birds chirping, the sun shining,
Everything is
it's a great time to be alive.
Facts.
Beautiful. I'm feeling great. This is a moment where we're just creating our life right now, so it feels really exciting.
Facts.
I feel like the energy just right, and we're just like bringing into alignment
together.
Yeah, everything the way that it should be, as it should. And so, how are you feeling?
It's wild. I'm feeling amazing. Like a year ago, I won't even go all the way back then, but it was wild, and it just feels good. This energy right here feels good. And we were talking about earlier. It's been almost 2 years since
we've
seen
seen each other. The way that we met, though, even the way that we met, like I was literally telling her, like, okay, so I was literally like down in the dumps. Like I literally won't even lie, I was coming from a booty call. She was like she literally picked me up, and I remember like getting in her car, like I was just feeling so, I won't say low, but I was just like the guy that I was messing with, like he had a lot to do, and it was kind of just like me, like I don't want to say he was like telling me I had to go, but it was like me removing myself because I didn't want to feel, like clingy or anything. So I was just like, okay, like what am I going to do with my day after I've just spent this amount of time here? And I pretty much got in her car, and I think she had like a crystal like coming from the rear view. Her car smelled really good. Like she had like this music playing, and then she just had this huge smile on her face when I got in the car, and she was like, hey, what's up? And I was just like, hey, like I literally was like not in her vibration, but she brought me up there. Like by the time that I got in her car, we literally had exchanged numbers and contacts. I had played my music. Like she had told me something about herself. I had told her something about myself. She had like allowed me to like open up. And she's like, yo, like you're a light, like you're super bright. Like I really appreciate this conversation. Like saying all this, and like I don't really talk in Ubers and Lyfts. Like if I feel the need to spark a conversation with somebody, I will. But for the most part, like I'm usually like coming from somewhere where I want to hurry up and get home, or want to hurry up and get to my destination. So I really don't, make time to talk. But with her, it was just like, I was like, yo, like you really like changed my mood. Like, I gotta know who you are. So then we exchanged information, and when I tell you, like 2 years straight, just positive affirmations, like reassurance, like reminding me like who I am, like not talking to her for months and hitting me up with like a a poem for the day of like the light that I am, like really just instilling in me the nature of divine feminine. Like I definitely have to say that about her. Like you are so amazing. So after I met her, I was just like, yeah, you know, like this is gonna be somebody that I'm like definitely gonna have a relationship with. Definitely want to cultivate projects with. Like definitely just want to vibe with. And you know, she's worked with me because I do have a busy life. Like I have a busy schedule. Like I'm everywhere. You know. But I've always made time to like check in with her and just try to elevate her in the best ways that I know how, while her continuously doing the same thing for me.
Wow. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so wild because even like that time I was going to school out here, I was going through a lot, and it's just crazy how life plays. Like life is one piece after the next. We're just putting them together, and I had to like. I was just out there lifting, you know. I'm like, let me explore.
Just being you.
I'm a
like,
people's person. You know, prior to COVID, things were cool. Like, but internally, I was going through stuff, getting through my divorce, and literally, I had to pump my brakes and just take time for myself. You know, and like by nature, I'm that person. You know, I think you can lose your zest over time. You get me, like, but. It's always there, and I just feel like it was your light, like your aura, like I could tell that, like I think energy. She hopped in, like I've been, like I don't know, it's just crazy, but I felt your energy, and my whole thing is I'm not that person who just be like, hey, you know, how's your day go? Like,
right,
I just
felt something,
you know, like I feel people's energy out, and you know, communicate on that, you know, so just her whole aura, like it was just a cool vibe, and I think after you two other chicks hopped in, so of course I'm the Lyft driver, like I'm trying to pay attention to the road and everything going on in my car, you know, so they're like, when I tell you energy, there's this energy right here, there's her, like, so there was a lot going on in there, but at the same time, it was like pretty empowering. It was like, we were just, it was a cool day in LA, and like I met.
We aligned.
Yeah.
We really aligned.
I'm like, who are you?
Right.
That's the therapy.
No, that's honestly what it was, because I told her that I did music, and I told her I was an artist, and like just being able to play that song in your car, and she was like, she literally said that, she's like, yo, where you come from? Like, oh my gosh. And then like, you know, I'm having doubts about myself as an artist, so like you said, you just never know like who you may talk to or who you may meet that like gives you that reminder of like, yo, like you're supposed to be right here, like everything is aligning right now, like don't stress too much. Like, you know how some people say they send you angel numbers? Like I feel like I get sent angel people.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like I'm that for people too, but like it's always refreshing when you're so used to being that for other people, but some people come in your life and are like that for you. So definitely a bond in a relationship that I love telling that story. Like I really love telling that story, because it's like, who would have ever thought, you know? But it's a lot of people I've met in LA like that. Honestly, a lot of people.
And to me, like LA is so busy. Like I gotta armor up. Like I love, you know, I love hard, and that's just how I armor up. But like every day I leave my house, like you armor up because there's so much energy going on, you know. And I just feel like I had to surrender, like, and just be, you know. And like I feel like. Attraction, you attract.
Right, you attract what you're ready for,
And so that's what happened, and life is just beautiful. Like,
right, we're here now. We're here now.
That's amazing.
I moved to Atlanta, but by the grace of like me being able to still travel due to work, like she literally hit me up about you guys, and was like, yo, like I'm ready for you to meet my amazing artist friends. Something happened right there. I don't know if it's still recording. But she was like,
but I have to. Sorry.
No, you're fine. She was like, you have to meet my dope artist friends. We have a podcast. Like, your vibe, our vibe. Like, she didn't really have to say too much. Like, I just knew that like when I was gonna be in the area, I was gonna make sure that it happened. But I know, like, I knew that I had a feeling that anything that like she was attached to, like, it was for the greater good. You know, it was for the, you know, it's for the betterment of humanity. So I'm like, let me tag along. You know, add my little fairy magic. Like, we're here. We're literally here.
So tell us about your story. You know, what got you into music? You know, how did you get started? And where you at right now?
So pretty much, my dad was a singer, is a singer. My dad had a group with his brothers. Back in the day, they were signed. Used to open up for like the Fugees and stuff like that. So like my dad really instilled. Well, I really came out the womb singing. Like, music is literally like one of those things where it's like, it is my vibration. Like, I feel like I am music, you know, like when I talk, like, you know, it's literally equivalent to birds, like, but yeah, he had a group with his brothers. My mom was a choir director. She worked in like the healthcare field, but she loved music. She had a love for music, and like my grandmother told me, like, somewhere in there, not even somewhere in there, I just can't like repeat like exactly how close knit we are, but like Dizzy Gillespie's my cousin in some regard. Like, I think my great grandmother and him are like first or second cousins or something like that. So not to mention, I have the musical talents dating back to then, but my dad being an artist, growing up in the church, singing on the choir, like I literally was singing on the choir by the age of 2.
Wow.
Like, I was like leading the choir. Yeah, I was literally like leading the choir and song at 2. You know, my mom was the choir director for the church. And then by like 6 or 7, I was doing plays. I did this play called Once on This Island. And I was Little T Moon. I was this character called Little T Moon. And just doing that really like opened up my eyes to the fact that I wanted to be in the limelight. Like, I knew I had a voice, I knew I could act, but just when I hit that stage, like the person that I became, it was just like, yo, like, I could really do this like for life. And just the people who I impacted just by me having that dream, I'm like, wait, so I can have a career just by having a dream, you know, that helps other people have dreams. You know, like, okay, cool. Like, you know, so from a young age, it was just, it was just from a young age, it was just one of those things where, like, I'm really big on, like, feelings. Like, I really like feelings. I really like, you know, vibes and energy and stuff like that. So just the way people made me feel when they would come up to me after, like, a play, and just like, oh my gosh, like, you're so young, but you're so talented. Like, you have this big, big voice. You're going to go here when you grow up. And, like, to me, like, most people fall in love with, like, being on stage and stuff like that. But I fell in love with that. Like, I fell in love with people, like, being able to recognize my potential, you know, and, like, my true self. It was, like, that's when I really felt seen. You know, being able to get those emotions out of somebody. I remember, I was just telling my dad, I remember we went to go see The Dark Knight at the Smithsonian Museum or something like that. It was like this huge, huge movie theater. And I just remember, like, so many emotions, like, ran through me while watching The Dark Knight Rises. I think it was the one with, it was the Joker one. It was the one with the Joker. And just when I tell you my emotions after that movie, like, it was like one of those moments where I was like, I want to make people feel like this. Like, I want to make people feel emotions. Like, and like, even growing up, like, you know, in the world that we're in today, I feel like people shy away from those emotions. So it's like when I'm able to put my emotions and my story in a song and you listen to it and that make you want to share your emotions and your story, it's like, that's a fair trade-off to me, you know? But so yeah, my dad has a big part in my voice today. He helped me. He really groomed me and really wanted me to be a performer in the entertainment industry. So I started doing, like I said, plays. I did the whole Broadway scene. And from there, it was just like I felt like I was ready for whatever. My mom felt that way. My mom was kind of like my biggest fan. She was like my manager before I had a manager. She was my agent before I had an agent. I remember she opened up, like, so we used to go back and forth to New York because we wouldn't live there, but I lived in the DMV area, and my mom had a bakery in my name, like a bakery business. It was called Nolani Sweets. And the money that she raised, like, baking, she would literally like use that to go to New York like every day. Like it was me and my mom were literally like hustlers. Like I'm not gonna lie. My dad was at work, so my mom like she held down like a lot of the times, you know. But she also, you know, she believed in me. My parents definitely believed in me. But it wasn't like it was a surprise because, you know, my dad was like a whole, you know, musician, plays the drums, like piano, all that. So around like I want to say 12, we came to LA. We moved to LA and like it was up since there, you know, like I pretty much realized LA was somewhere that I wanted to be to reach new heights. Coming from that whole like East Coast world, it was cool, but it was theater, you know, and it was like that theater was cool for me when I was young, but I wanted bigger, you know, and what bigger than Hollywood. So pretty much moved here 2012, 2013. Me and my parents, we drove all the way from the DMV. And that's where all the pursuits began. That's where it started. Yeah, that's where all the pursuits began.
Wow. How long did it take us?
Sorry. We left. It was crazy because when we left the DMV, it was a big storm. It was a massive storm. Like things like that, like I take note of, like, you know. But it was a huge storm. So I think we left on like a Tuesday, and we didn't get to California until like that Monday or that Sunday, I want to believe. Yeah, it took us a minute because we stopped.
Yeah.
We definitely stopped a couple of times. It's crazy because I had just gotten braces. Like, I had just gotten braces, and if any of my viewers have ever had braces, like, when you first get braces on, they hurt. Like, they hurt a lot. So, like, it was so painful, like, driving all that, you know, all those long ways, and then not really being able to like eat anything, and then being in the car with my parents. Like it was a lot. It was a lot. But yeah, we got there, and the California adventure started. Yeah, my life has definitely been a movie, to say the least. I know everybody feels that way when they move to LA, but mine especially. Like I'm like, yo, like the amount of things that have happened to me out here, I can't sit here and say that I would have never imagined because I did. That's why I'm here. You know, like, so it's like, it's just cool to be able to live out those dreams that you literally had as a kid. Like, sometimes it'd be so surreal. Like, I just be sitting there like, yo, you really powerful. Like, you know, like, I be telling myself, like, dang, like, that's what's up. But, yeah, that's a little bit about my coming to LA story and becoming Jaira Noel.
It took y'all a week to come from the DMV to LA.
A week.
I drove from Charlotte, North Carolina. It took me 2 days.
For real?
But we didn't stop.
Like non-stop is good. Like no snacks or nothing. Like you gotta understand, I literally couldn't eat anything. So like the places that they want to stop at, the burgers, the fast food, I'm like, nah, I can't do that. So we're stopping at restaurants. Like we stopping at rooms. You know, like
mashed potatoes.
Right, literally. Like oh my gosh, literally. That pain is so crazy because I want to say I kind of focused on my teeth for the first like a year and a half, like when I got to LA. Like it was horrible. Like that culture shift from the DMV to LA was just so different. Like, oh my gosh. Like, but I remember like the first time that I came to LA, I was just surprised. I was like, Mom, like, why is there a liquor store and like a dentist like on literally like every block? Like I was so confused. Like it would literally be a thing as to where like most people would literally stop me and ask me if I wanted to get my teeth done. Like it would, and I was young. Like when I first came out here, I was young, but I traveled to Miami for the first time this year, and the amount of like, you know, plastic surgeons and doctors and stuff like that. It was kind of like it kind of reminded me when I first went to LA. I was like, wow, like, but it's Hollywood. You know, it's like, it's the entertainment industry. It's the setup, right? But it was just crazy because in DMV, you'll never see any of that. Like, I don't even, if I wanted to get my body done, I don't even know where I would go in the DMV area, you know? So it's like culture shifts, you know? It was just interesting coming to LA and just being able to, like, when people think of Hollywood and like Los Angeles, like it's so funny when people tell me like, yeah, I want to go out there, da da da, because it's like when people say that, I literally get the same feeling that I once got like coming out here and seeing the Hollywood sign. So it's like, I understand that. You know, I understand that love for LA because the way that it's just showcasing
it was
the world.
packaged up for us, just nice, and it was so. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was, you know, given to us like that. So even like being out here, I'm from here, you know. Like it's crazy because I'm like, that's so LA or that's so Hollywood, you know, like that's where it's
and I feel that way about the DMV too. Like when people come to the DMV, I guess it's just like it has to do with perspective, you know, because how you see something is not how the other person is gonna see it. So like I said, like I had already pretty much did my rounds in New York, but California, man, I don't know. California was just so eye-opening to a lot when it came to like the arts, you know, just being able to see the creative juices flowing from literally everybody. Like when I literally would tell you, like, she wasn't the only dope lift I met. Like, you know, like, just everybody has a story. And I feel like in LA, you kind of get your chance to tell your story a little bit more without having to make it to such a high level. Because people are just, you know, ready to get in where they can, you know, get in where they fit in. That term never really made sense to me until I like moved to LA. You know, because it's like people are gonna do whatever they gotta do to really like get shit popping. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's definitely was a culture shift for me coming from, you know, Charlotte, North Carolina, because it's not a real big entertainment industry in that area. It's just a real big banking industry. So like one big thing that popped out to me, it's gonna sound small, but to me it was big, is when I came out here, like all the billboards was promoting movies and TV shows. Like where I'm from, it's just like insurance. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it was a real big different culture shift. And when I came here, a lot of people that I met, you know, they was into, you know, TV, animation, music, you know, it was just like, man, like that's just the culture here.
That's
you
the
know?
culture
It's so
here,
different because where I'm from, you might meet one or two people that's into film, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? And those people that you go to when it comes to film.
when it comes to film, out here you got so many choices. That's crazy.
fingertips.
So going from theater and that whole scene to coming to LA, like who was your first inspiration as far as an artist who like inspired you to get out of that and then go and like step into yourself, you know?
Who was my first inspiration to separate me from theater to really like pop music and like sitcoms and stuff
Or
like
just
that?
what vision you had for yourself. Like what was that moment? And who were
Okay,
those people?
so I have a very visual moment of that artist. So I remember I was in 9th grade, 9th or 10th grade, I was going to Burbank High. And at the time, movies like Divergent and like Hunger Games and stuff like that were really, really popular. And I wasn't really, I don't want to say I wasn't in the popular crowd in high school, because like, and if you, like in the DMV, I was known for my talents and who I was, but like, in Burbank, it was just like everybody had something going on. So it was like, all right, well, you're not that special, you know? But yeah, like I literally had little to no friends when I first moved there. Like I said, it was a culture shock. So I was going through it. Like I was just like, oh my god, like people here are so different. So in my spare time, I did a lot of reading. So I would read books, like I said, like Divergent. And then at the time, like it was so cool because I was being able to read those books before the movies came out. So when the movies came out, it was a really big thing for me. And I literally remembered watching Divergent, and I kind of fell in love with that series. I really liked the actress Shailene Woodley. But what stuck out to me the most was the soundtrack. Like that soundtrack to the Divergent movie was crazy. So it's this artist named Ellie Goulding. Who had like a ton of. She had like literally every other scene was one of her songs. Like it was crazy. I was just like, I remember watching the movie and I was like, the movie was literally like enticing me so much to the point where I was like, yo, like if I watched it on mute, I probably would not get the same feeling that I got. Like Ellie Goulding's voice really just like made that, and it was like right there that I realized, like, okay, of course I want my songs to be played in movies, but I want to make movie-making songs. Like, I literally want to make, like, stories. So, I remember I would listen to her music, like, day and night. Like, I literally would play her on the way to school. I would play her doing homework. I would play her, like, at the mall. Like, I would play her doing whatever I was doing. And it wasn't even trying to, like, emulate her or anything, but it was just like, yo, her tone and her voice. Like, at the time, I had started being in the studio a little bit. Like, I had probably made, like, one song or two or three, maybe. But, like, I just knew, I was like, okay, like, if she's doing this, like, I could do this. Like, I literally remember just hearing the softness in her voice, and the way that she, like, talked to people, and the essence that she had about her. I really liked that. And I was like, I want to make people feel that way, you know? Like, I want to make people feel glowy and, like, you know, like, special and stuff like that. Like, in all her interviews I would watch, like, people would just be, like, just amazed at her, per se. But, yeah, she's... Like, when people literally ask me my favorite artist to date, I literally, as far as females go, I literally run back to her, because it's like, I stick with my day one influences. So it's like, she was really the one to give me that kind of mystical essence about my music. Like, she let me know that, like, you know, hey, even as, like, a black girl, like, I could do it too, you know? So that's why it's like, I love it, because when I play my music for people, they don't really get that reference, but they say that my music is in the genre of, like, what hers would be, or what, like, a, what's her name? FK Twigs, or, like, you know, like, the most up-to-date, person that I've gotten was kind of like, what's her name? She sings, "This time, baby, I'll be forever." You guys know the song, we're not the artist. Okay, anyway. But, like, back in that time, I know you guys are gonna be mad because I already said it and you guys can't think about it. But, yeah, like, even just...
Did you hear Ellie Goulding's cover of your song by Elton John?
I've heard all her covers. Like, I literally had a day to where I just sat and watched all her YouTube videos, and, like, by the end of it, I was just like, wow, like, I really, really, really think that, like, people from, because I think she's from Europe. If I'm not mistaken, yeah. I think she's from somewhere. But just that sound from over there, like, I've always resonated with. Like, I've always saw myself being, like, in a jazz club in Italy performing by the time I'm, like, 25 or, like, something. Like, I literally was just like, that's the goal for me. But her, I would say that on the way to New York, a lot of the times, my mom, she had, like, 5 albums she played. So she would play... Anthony Hamilton, The Point of It All. She would play The Evolution of Robin Thicke. That's my album. Like, any song from that could play right now, and I'd bust out in a full concert.
That's how I remember Justin Timberlake
2020 Experience?
2020 Experience.
That album's fire. She played the Chris Brown exclusive album. I was a big Chris Brown fan. Yeah, no, that album is... I had a little mix up there. Mary J. Blige, Growing Pains, I believe. It was the album that she came out with, like, 2000. Just fine. She played that. All Sade albums. All Kim albums, like, all Joe albums, Celine Dion, Anita Baker. So, like, y'all gotta understand, my dad made me learn, like, at least 5 Anita Baker songs when we moved out. to LA. So everybody watching this, if y'all want to go see me sing Angel somewhere online, I'm pretty sure you can find that. But yeah, like my mom, she kept me in love with like just old school music. I really had a love for Whitney Houston growing up. Her range, like her tone. When my dad taught me how to sing, my dad told me that like one thing that would make me a great singer would be my control. And he would say that, and he would play a Whitney Houston clip, and I would literally watch her sing, and I would just watch her literally pull at my emotions with her range and with her tone, like the way that she came in on most of her records and the way that she left you, like by the end of the record, like it just, that was one of the things where, like I said, I had again that moment, like I want to make people feel like this, you know, like I want to do this, like, so yeah.
She still got the best national anthem performance. For
sure, definitely. But yeah, like all like of the R&B old school type artists, I really, a secret that most people don't know about me, I really like only male singers. Yeah, like I really only like listening to male singers. Like I have my utmost respect for female singers, but I don't really learn anything from them per se. Like I learn things from male singers because it's challenging. I've taught myself to sing in a low register by listening to male singers. I've taught myself to sing in a high register by listening to male singers. One thing that I would do, like even with the Robin Thicke album, I would listen to him sing in his key, but then I would take it up a notch. And I was like, that's how I would teach myself how to sing in like a higher, you know, type of, like I, shout out to Robin Thicke. That album has really like done a number on me. I've actually made a lot of songs based off of that album. And even the way that I just want to like tell my story, I just love that the evolution of Robin Thicke. Like it's not just me in my one form, it's me in all of them, you know?
That's beautiful.
That's how I feel about female singers though. Like I feel like I listen to more female singers because of their range, and as a male, it extends my range. Because the guys stays low.
Stay low. Right. I feel that, yeah. The yin and the yang. The yin and the yang.
One question I wanted to ask you, because I was looking at some of your videos on YouTube, was the one you did, it was a poetry setting, and like...
The poetry lounge.
Yes, the poetry lounge, like, you just came up there and you was like fearless about it. So I want to ask, like, are you ever like nervous to perform or get in front of a crowd at all? Or?
I think every entertainer, every performance has those nerves. It's about how you use them. You know, nerves are nothing but energy. You know, nerves is an emotion, and emotion is energy in motion. So it's like, more so when I was young, I wouldn't know how to really channel that energy. But like now, it's just like, yo, like here's your time to captivate this moment, to really like spread your joy, really like spread your vibes. Like I look at that as like, yo, this is one of the most important times to me. And I think more so now because of COVID, I realized how important that was. Beforehand, like even just going out and speaking people, like touching people, like not even to be weird, but touching people and getting to see that, like getting to really feel that energy and thriving off of that performance. But yeah, I wouldn't say poetry is a little bit more different. Poetry, I don't want to say you can have a little bit more personality, because you're supposed to have personality in your music too. But because I'm an actress, and my poems, like I would take on different characters. You know, because I wouldn't always write from a place of me. You know, I would kind of write from a lot of places, actually. I would kind of write a lot of stories. And in music, I feel like unless it's a performance type of setting, it may be hard to kind of get that out, as to where it's like I can literally go into my poem right now and, you know, y'all would start snapping, and that would be like the environment of it now, you know, like I would command that from you guys. So yeah, like I think naturally no, because I'm just always excited to just get vibes from people and have that positively motivate me in that moment the best way I know how. But yeah, I've gotten nervous before, back when I didn't really know myself. I didn't really know the impact that I wanted to have on people. So it would be like a guessing game. And I feel like as an artist, you never want to have that go on. You know, you want to be able to not even command the crowd off the bat, but you want to be able to command your own energy. And you want to be able to be in charge of yourself before going out and impacting like that many people.
Nice.
Yeah.
What I love about you is like your energy is always present, like, and that's very, very powerful. Like, no matter like when you're texting, like
Dang, people say that a lot.
That's just like you're very aware and you're very young, and I feel like since I met you, like you've been moving with a purpose, and like I'm out here moving, like I'm doing my thing, but like you're very in tune with a purpose, and it's a higher purpose. And
that's the universe. It's crazy you say that though, because like people when I'm it's something so simple as like when I'm texting or not when I'm texting, like I'll be talking about something and somebody be like, wow, like I just had that thought, or I just had that conversation, or even when I hit people up, like when I call people, they be like, yo, I was just talking about you, and I'm like, I know. It's one of those things where it's like energy. No, literally, like, because when I said this in the beginning, I meant this. Like I've literally had the utmost like respect and love for feelings, because to me, like, that's how we really get shit done. Like, of course, you know, the left side of the brain is cool, logic is woo. But it's like that feeling is what really gets me through life. Like, just being able to be so in tune. When I was younger, like, I used to hate it. I used to really hate being in tune with my emotions and others. But now I've looked at it as like a cheat code to life, you know, because it's like, what would I feel if it wasn't like the love around me? You know, what would I feel if it wasn't the dreams of the people around me, or if it wasn't the fears of the people around me? Like, I don't even know, like, how would I be able to like really like, of course I would be moving throughout life with a purpose, but like she said, I move so hard because it's like, yo, I see the aspirations of everybody else around me, and when they're on the same type of time that I'm on, it makes me like want to go harder. You know, I think that's what a lot of people lack. Like, it's community. You know, it's like that brotherhood, that sisterhood, that feeling of being safe and understood by your tribe. You know, that's one of the things that I like asked the universe for guidance in last year, is just being able to like find my tribe, but also being able to raise myself to a vibration to where I'm just attracting those type of people. You know, because like she said, you attract what you're ready for. So like I said, by the grace of the universe, like I'm choosing to be aware, I'm choosing to be in the know of things, and like the universe just constantly is sending me opportunities in alignment with that, sending me people like in alignment with that to keep me on this path, and not only keep me on this path, but like raise higher, like, and also be able to get people from out of where they're at. Because don't get me wrong, I wasn't always here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was not always here, and I don't think that's a bad thing either. People definitely have those areas and those times in their lives where they're just seeking more. But thankfully, that's always been a moment in my life. Like, since a child, I've always just been seeking more, better, higher, you know? So it's like, thankfully, I've been able to make a career out of that. I've been able to teach out of that. You know, I've been able to love out of that. Like, I just constantly be like, it's funny because there's this meme, and I feel like I am the meme, where it's like, God, nah, bigger. Because it's like, that's literally me. Like, nah, like, I want more, you know? But that's been the attitude that I've had, like, in my life. Even with meeting people, it's like, okay, well, yeah, we're here, but how can we go there? You know, like, how can we do this, or how can we do that? And I think that's why I've been able to cultivate a lot of relationships in my life. Long-standing ones too, because when people come into my life and when I come into theirs, it's like I'm not leaving until we both fulfill a purpose, you know. So by the grace of the universe, like I said, I've been able to do that for a lot of people just through my music. Like, but like she said, she lets me know it's just based off of who I am, you know. So I think that's a different type of. That's just a different type of light where you can just wake up and be who you are, and you're hoping somebody, you know, be who they are. You know, that's like, even if I wasn't an artist, I think that would be like one of my goals as a person, like in general, just getting people to be able to strive to be their best self, you know, and fall in love with that. My dad used to tell me all the time, fall in love with the process. And it's like, I didn't understand that until now. You know, like, instead of worrying so much about your destination, like, fall in love with getting there first. Yeah.
You're so beautiful. I have to say that. And I'm so
Thank you so much. You guys are beautiful. Like, this energy, like, I love that. Thank you so much. That's what I'm saying. Like, even being in Atlanta, like, I've just been able to be around so many people where, like I said, I can call them my tribe, you know? So it's like, when I get that, I get inspiration to go even harder. It's kind of like the X-Men movie. You know, like, I feel like we're mutants and we have this, like, school, you know, and we're putting signals out like, hey, you're like us, you know, like, come on. But even it being like that, you know, being able to be cool with people who are not like me, and people who are totally different than me, I'm learning from y'all too, you know, because it's like, that's one thing that I said when I was younger. I just was always obsessed with, like, the unknown and just everything taboo, and, like, everything that we were taught to hate, everything we were taught to not like, everything we were taught that was bad for us. Like, I would sit down the rabbit hole as a jit, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like, wait, hold up, like, I just had so many questions about everything. I'm like, nah, I'm pretty sure that's not how it goes with, you know, nobody's gonna question authority, but then I'm the glitch in the matrix, so it's like, I've just made that my path. I've made that my path, but yeah, it's been a long ride.
With this being the Reformation podcast, that's something that we're really big on, is reforming the mind. So with that experience, what can you say reformed your mind as far as questioning what was always taught to fear and taught to love? Like, what do you say, you know, change your mind about that? What do you now hate that you used to love, or vice versa?
Like I would say, when I was younger, I already had, like, primitive feelings that, like, yo, like, you're not from here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot be from here. Like, I used to always ask my parents, I was like, was I adopted? Like, because, like, I just don't really do things the way I want to do things, but I don't turn 18 for another couple of years. So I'm just rock with it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, like, girl, literally, even my siblings, like, I just always felt like an oddball. I always felt like an outcast. But yeah, like I said, my parents, like, grew up in the church. My grandmother was a pastor. So, like, that's where it started. But it's also, it went further because I hated school. I really hated school. Like, I did not like school at all. And, you know, my mom would always be like, oh, because you're an artist, you're just meant to write, da, da. And I'm like, it's that, but I just, you know, the system just don't say right to me. Like, even as a kid, like, I realized, I'm like, nah, like, I don't know. Like, if I always used to tell my teachers, I would be like, well, if I had my own civilization, like, this is how I would go. And they would just they would be looking at me, like, in awe, because, like I said, I wasn't scared. I was not scared of authority. And while there were people in my ear telling me that was a bad thing, like, for me, it was like my fuel, you know, because it was like, I'm gonna always, like, push the wall, you know, like, I'm always gonna, like, push the standard. I'm always gonna push the standard. So I think it was, like I said, I think it was my level and skill of manifestation. Like, everything that I said I wanted as a child, it happened to me. Like, everybody that I wanted to meet, places that I wanted to go, opportunities that I wanted to get presented to me, I realized how powerful I was as a child. Like, I realized the power that I held with my, I don't want to say my sense of dreaming, but, you know, my parents my dad always told me, he was like, you don't really deal in reality. And I'm like, I know, you should try it. Because it's like, the more that I wasn't dealing in somebody else's reality, I was making my reality a reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really sitting there believing in my shit because I wasn't like thinking, I wasn't believing in someone else's like interpretation of my reality. Like, people would always tell me like, well, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do that. And I would make it happen because I believed it, But yeah, like I said, it was just certain things that I just wanted to do. It was certain aspirations and goals that I had, and there was just a certain willpower behind me as a child that I was just always amazed at. Everybody around me was amazed at it. My parents were amazed at it. I really just went after everything that I wanted, and for the most part, that was this music. There was this music. So, getting into the industry, I think my parents just seeing the force that I was around people and just seeing the length that my talent could go, like, that was one of the most inspiring things. Like my dad really just would always tell me, like, well, first of all, like, my name, Jaira Noel, my name means Jehovah Teachers, beautiful girl from heaven. So, like, they would always remind me, like, of who I am, like, my dad would be like, yo, like, my nigga, you special, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he would literally be telling me, like, yo, like, you're not meant to do things that other people are doing, like, you're not meant to go that path. So, to answer your question, like, certain things would just happen to me. I would just go through certain things, and while, yes, everybody goes through things in their path, like, people around me would literally go through the same things, but, like, my outcome would be so different. Like, the things that were happening to me and the things that were happening to other people, I'm like, yo, there has to be a reason for this. Like, so just tapping into my my higher consciousness as a divine feminine, tapping into really that emotional intelligence that I wanted to be able to have. I just started seeing stuff. I just started being able to read people. I just started being able to be, like you said, very aware of my surroundings, very aware of the people around me, very aware of how in tune I can be with the universe, very aware with the different frequencies there are, very aware with the realms that there are, like, very aware just of people in general, people, planets, like, just all those things, like, everything, as above, so below, like, that kind of, I fell deeply in love with that, and from there, like, I went through a very, crazy breakthrough. I pretty much, like, had some very unfortunate things happen to me, and it was just one of those things to where it was like, I knew I had the power to utilize those things for the greater good. And then it just started to, like, dawn on me, like, okay, well, if you're able to do that, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're able to take something so bad, and transform it to something so good, like, there has to be more to that. Like, why do you have that power, So, yeah, like I said, just falling in love with the unknown. I've always been down the rabbit hole. Most people get sent down the rabbit hole. They have, like, this crazy big revelation that sends them. But I feel like my life has been one big rabbit hole because I've just always known, like I said, that there's more. Yeah. Like, my answer to everything is, nah, there's more to this. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that attitude keeps me just on the up and ups. Yeah. Like, it keeps me not being content with anything. Like, even my artistry, like, I'm like this one time, like, I had wrote this song. I came up with this song, like, this person reached out to me and needed a song for a movie. And I remember the person, like, my mom was, like, kind of, like, getting me gigs at the time. So the person I went through my mom. And I remember my mom had just sat there with me and watched me write it and record it in, like, under, like, 30 minutes. And she was just looking at me and she was just like, yo, like how? Like, how do you even get the inspiration to be able to do something like that? And I was just like, because, like, it's already there. I'm just getting it out, it's just like, it's deep. It's deep because I am, like, I literally told her, I was like, well, like, I am you, you are me. And she was just like, what? And I was like, that's not gonna make sense right now, but I promise you, like, that's, like, I feel that way. Like, so when people come to me with stories, or with songs to write, or with people to work with, it's like, I'm just tapping into a form of myself to be able to give you what you need at that time, because in reality, like, I am you, you are me, you know, we're just here at different times, and we have different things to fulfill. But, like, we should always be able to come down to that fine line of, you know, I am you, you are me. Like, we're just here having different experiences, you know, going through different shades of light. I won't even say no darkness. Like, it's just different shades of light, you know? So it's like, just being able to realize that I move accordingly. You know, like, I really move accordingly, especially in the entertainment industry. Like, just being able to be exposed to all those different things. Like, I was just like, yo, like I said, nah, there's more to this. Like, y'all are gonna hear me say that all the time, because that's what keeps me optimistic, and that's what keeps me having faith, is knowing that this shit is never ending. You know, it's not a race.
It's like you do it to
per se. It's a marathon. You know, like Nip said. So it's like, I've just been blessed to be able to understand why falling in love with the marathon is so important. And I think once you figure that out, like, this journey becomes not even easier but lighter. You know, you're just flowing. Like, I'm literally, like, I'm chilling. Like, I think that's why my music is how it is for some people. It's like I remember this. I played the song for this one guy, and he was like, "Yo, like, I literally feel lighter. You know, like, I feel lighter listening to your music. Like, I feel like you took some weight off for me." And I was like, "Yeah." Like, you know, like, that's the medicine in the notes, you know, like, in that. Like, so, like I said, I've just been blessed to be able to always have this general sense of awareness that it's more than me, it's bigger than me. And I would just say that I've always gone through that attitude. Like, since a child, I've literally always had that essence about me. And I think that people see that, and they want to add to it in the best way they know how. And people also see that, and they want to destroy that, and they want to take advantage of that. And like I said, I'm just blessed to be able to know, okay, you're that side, you know, it all matters, you know, like, the good and the bad, it all matters, because it makes me the person that I am today.
If you can give one piece of advice, or, like, what would be that one message that you want to share with the people that listen to your music, or just in general?
The one piece of advice, one sense of advice. The one piece of advice I would want to give to my listeners is, this may seem quite cliche, but stay true to you. I feel like so many times we go through life trying to prove things to other people that we literally lose ourselves, like, in the process. Stay true to you. Relearn you, fall in love with you, and I feel like that will be all the armor that you truly need in this lifetime. I feel like me literally only being 21, like I said, I'm falling in love with myself, like, all over again. Like, I'm relearning who I was as a child. I'm doing things in a way of gratitude. Like, I'm grateful for everything. And I feel like the more you have that attitude about you, the universe decides to bless you. You know, with people, you know, with miracles, like, with everything, because you've decided to have that outlook that, like, no matter what, like, I got me. You know, and I feel like because of what we go through in life, we sometimes, I don't even want to say don't learn to have that outlook, but it's hard for us to have that outlook.
That part,
So it doesn't matter, like, what age you are. If you can, like, regain that about yourself and make sure to always put yourself first. Always make sure you're loving yourself, like, being kind to you. Like, you'd be surprised how many people are just not kind to themselves. And then we go out and then we try to build relationships with other people, and then we wonder why we get treated that way from these people. It's like because you haven't even set the foundation for yourself. And that comes from being true to yourself, like always being honest to yourself, always loving yourself throughout the good and the bad. It's like you're literally like parenting yourself. It's pretty crazy. Because as children, like we don't really think about it that way, but like, in our adult years, you realize that like, yo, I'm all I got. So like, let me, take care of this avatar as much as I can. Like let me really try to make this journey as easy as I can. And to me, that starts with literally always keeping it 100 with yourself, like literally always having that self-realization, that self-awareness, because you can have it with the people around you, but if you don't have it with you, like you can end up being the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like it's this meme. It was this funny meme, and it was this girl with like tarot cards, and she was like, "Girl, the spirit said you the toxic one," and then the girl was sitting there like, "Nah, shuffle them motherfuckers again." That ain't right, But yeah, just me being able to have that attitude, like, yo, I'm always checking myself. Like, I'm literally always, you can never check me because I promise you I already did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, and that's a journey in itself too. But just like you said, most people at my age, they're not this aware. So I take pride in really having that about me because it's like, I want to know better. You know what I'm saying? Most people, they don't want to know better, and that's cool. Like, y'all help the world go around too. But like for me, it's like, yo, I want to know where I'm gonna fuck up. I want to know where I'm gonna do bad because it's like, all right, hurry up, self-improvement. It's like, boom, we're here. But yeah, like I said, just staying true to you, and just falling in love with you. Never not like be in love with yourself. Like as narcissistic as they may sound, like never stop that self-love. The moment that you stop that self-love, it's like a lot of things can happen from that point, like not even to get deep down in there, but like I said, the moment you fall out of love with yourself, I feel like you fall out of love with life. Like you fall out of love with all the things that are, you know what I'm saying, in the true essence of just being able to have confidence and knowing like, yo, I'm the shit. Like even if you don't get taught that, like teach yourself that. You're your own master teacher. So I feel like the more people aren't afraid to have that attitude about themselves, like, yo, like I'm out here learning shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, like most people don't really, we look at it like, fuck, like why did I go through this? Like, damn it, like I shouldn't have been there with this person. I shouldn't have done this. But like you putting that energy out there, the moment that the universe sends you something and you always have that energy about things, it's like it's gonna become a continuous cycle. As opposed to being like, dang, like I'm so glad I went through this. Like I'm so glad that I learned this about myself. I'm so glad that I got to experience this with this person. I guarantee you, like the moment you start saying stuff like that, instead of wow, this breakup didn't teach me it's like you're not gonna really understand the beauty in the ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a facts, exactly. I hope that answered your question.
And some. And I think it's just so amazing to see you and to hear you and to see your light and like that awareness and that love and just everything, and the fact that you're doing this work and you're mindful of it and you're spreading it, and you're like, other people are going to listen to this and it's so infectious. So you're just a gift.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really try to be, like I said, it wasn't an overnight process. I think that's what I have to enforce to people who are so amazed at my true self. It's like, this is the process that I'm talking about. Realizing that there